Hello, my name's Colin Crothers, and I'm a student reporter and broadcaster at the University of Iowa. As a journalist, my job is to tell stories, while also balancing everything else going on in my life as a student. But no one tells our stories. So, my goal is to tell the stories of the student journalists, broadcasters, and storytellers all across the country. Let's walk the student beat. Welcome in. Today, we're walking the student beat with Cole Krueger of Iowa. Cole, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Colin. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Of course, Cole and I have known each other from working together at Iowa, going to school together. But I still want you to introduce yourself for those listening, a little bit more of your background and all the outlets you work with.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm Cole. I'm originally from Oregon, Wisconsin, which if you don't know, I don't blame you where that is. It's about 10 minutes south of the capital of Madison. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle with all the other big kind of surrounding neighborhoods there. And currently I work for DITV. I should mention I'm a sophomore at the University of Iowa. I kind of got my feet wet with KRUI in the spring, called a couple baseball games with Ryan Paris, who you also had on your show. And then I actually got hired as kind of a seasonal internship with KWWL Channel 7 in Waterloo, covering high school football games in the Iowa City area for their Friday Night Heroes kind of channel there. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. But obviously, the favorite thing you do, obviously, without a shadow of a doubt, is before the kickoff. Obviously.
Absolutely. I look forward to it every week. We're filming it tomorrow. I'm so excited. Seriously.
We're recording this Wednesday, September 24th. So we're recording it tomorrow night for the Saturday game, Iowa versus Indiana. Check it out. Little self plug.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you before we dive into everything that you're doing about why you wanted to get into sports journalism specifically.
Wow. Well, to be honest, Colin, I don't really know where it stems from. I mean, so just starting off here, in my senior year of high school, or sorry, I should say in sixth grade, we wrote a letter to ourselves. And one of the questions was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then right before graduation, we got it back and it said, I wish I had it with me. I tried to find it. It's somewhere lost at home back in Wisconsin. And it said, write for the Minnesota Vikings or write for ESPN. So I didn't really say journalism, but I was on the right track. So pretty much since sixth grade, I wanted to work in sports media. That's kind of my path. And it kind of just stems from, I think, growing up in a household that just revolved around sports. My dad, in my entire life, has coached four varsity sports, not at the same time. My brother, who's my hero in my life, played a year of college football. He was a quarterback for a high school football team. He truly my hero in my life, and those two just really introduced me to sports, especially football, and just our entire life. Just waking up in the morning, ESPN was always on. Good Morning Football was always on. Driving to school, my dad always had his football podcast on. So my entire world always really revolved around sports, especially football, and it just kind of dragged me into it. And I really found a passion for it when I was really young. So
Absolutely. Shout out Mr. Krieger. Shout out Jack Krieger.
absolutely.
And you want to give him a shout out for what is still pretty recent?
I do want to shout out to him. Congrats to him and now Leah Krieger for getting married just 2 weeks ago. He did schedule his wedding day of the Cyhawk game. So I was on the party bus watching us lose. So shout out to him. Never schedule your wedding in the fall. I'm telling you, he had all summer, and yet he still scheduled it in the fall. But seriously, though, like all jokes aside, love those guys. Near and dear to my heart. Shout out to Jack.
Absolutely. It probably made it feel a little bit more balanced though, because I mean, when Iowa loses, Iowa State doesn't feel great, but it is
Yeah.
your brother's wedding, so it probably kind of equaled out at least a little bit.
I feel kind of bad. I was kind of in a bad mood on the party bus. All these people, they were dancing and stuff, and I was just kind of sulking in the front because
Yeah.
lost the Cyhawk series again. But
We don't talk
nevertheless,
about Iowa State. We don't talk about them.
never.
No, no. But I like getting to do this because, like, I mean, we're around each other pretty much every single day. So
Yep.
now I get to learn a lot more about you and why, like, you're doing all of this. Because some people ask me, like, oh, it's cool because you get to talk to people from all these different schools. I'm like, yeah, I love that. But I also love this part where I get to learn more about, like, you and Ryan and Elise.
Mhm. Absolutely.
But I got to divert real quick because you brought up the Vikings.
Yep.
And I did open up just to make sure I wasn't crazy, like your Twitter real quick. And I saw the Jake Browning repost you had. Um, which I
I'm
can't
sorry
repeat
about that.
on here. Yeah, yeah. I've got like the Bengal. I don't know. Can you see it over there? The
Yeah,
Bengals
I see it.
Lego logo thing. It was a bad weekend. It
It
was.
was. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. That's all I can say.
Are you sorry though? I mean,
I feel a little bad because we're close friends, and we were talking about throughout the week how I thought it was going to be just a horrible game. I mean, it was for one side, but
it was. Yeah, but the Vikings is good.
yeah, they look good without their franchise quarterback. So mixed feelings about that.
Carson Wentz is the franchise now.
Don't say don't say that, please. No,
Posing of flashbacks.
I have a JJ McCarthy jersey in my closet. So
It's got to be. You can't have Carson Wentz going out and doing that every week because otherwise, what's the jersey for?
right, I hope not.
No, hopefully, is he out for how long again? Do you remember?
They're bringing him back week 7, so
Oh,
after the bye, and they play the Eagles. So
ooh,
they play Philadelphia, Baltimore, Detroit, and then the Chargers in that 4 month stretch. So he's going to be back for that. So
you're bringing back the franchise guy for your biggest games of the year.
a
That
gauntlet of a schedule. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, literal hell at that
Hmm.
point. Walking through the worst parts of the schedule, but back on what we've been discussing on this,
Right.
I want you first to talk about your experience with DITV, how you got wrapped up in all of that, what exactly it looks like for those that might not understand.
Yeah. So basically, last November, I knew some people like Izzy, Nick. Sorry, just to name drop for all the people who don't know.
Shout out
Uh,
to them.
yeah, shout out those guys. So I kind of knew them already from just journalism classes, and they were in DITV, and I was planning on joining, and I just was kind of just afraid to kind of start things up because I felt like I was in a good spot, and then I decided just to send an email to Johnny Valtman, our news director last year, and got hired. I kind of started in the weird kind of time in between fall and winter break, so I didn't do much at all like first semester, but then really got things going to start a second semester when we got back in January. And for those who don't know, I know Elise and you and Ryan have explained it pretty well, but we have 3 morning shows: Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 at dailyisland.com or KRUI 89.7 FM. That's where you can go go listen to those. Um, and we have production nights Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and there's a bunch of different opportunities. And yeah, that's kind of rundown of it, I would say.
The amount of plugs we've already thrown in, just a side
I
note,
know,
is
I
impressive.
know,
We're gonna keep growing with them. We're gonna keep them going.
absolutely.
Don't worry. There's gonna be plenty of them, especially towards the end. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, with getting started at DITV, I remember when you got started actually, and it was like the last what week, 2 weeks before we went on winter break,
Yep.
and I remember being told like going into the second semester, oh yeah, you guys are like Cole's gonna be here today, and I was like, I'll be
Who's
very
Cole?
honest. I haven't seen the kid. Like who? Like and everything. But obviously you're fantastic and everything, and you're around
Thank
so
you, sir.
much. But I want to ask with DITV specifically. I mean, it's all student run. And what do you
Mhm.
think is the biggest benefit of having that?
His benefit of having it be student run, man, that's a good question. Just it gives us more opportunities and it helps us grow. I mean, Angie and Charles are two, coaches there. Always say that it's a learning lab. Like we're allowed to mess up. So when we go into the real world, we're not prone to making those mistakes anymore, really. And just all the experiences that we are able to get from working at DITV, I mean, it benefits us in the long run, truly. I mean, we see Johnny now working in Louisville. We see Cindy Goldberg, who was on our sports staff last year, working for Big Ten Network. So yeah, that's fully student run. It can be complicated at times, but I also think it makes a lot more fun because we're all around the same age. We're so engaged with each other. We're such a tight knit group that honestly, I think it benefits us.
Absolutely, it does. And I like that answer there because it is about being a tight knit group and like
Yeah,
kind of growing with each other. That's one of my favorite answers I get on this show is like how everyone loves being around the people they're around. And that's what makes student journalism, especially in a studio, so fun.
exactly. Yeah.
And then, but like the thing with DITVs, we're telling stories constantly. We're telling game recaps. We're telling features about different players, and you've had your fair share of stories that you've told. What's
Mm.
maybe one of your favorite stories that you have shared through DITV?
Man, there's a few come to mind. Most recently, my week 3 kid captain of Gwendolyn Klaus, her mom had a quote that said, "I've never met someone who hasn't fallen in love with her," and that was like the perfect example. Like I got really emotional and I like just putting my story together. Like I had to stop for 20 minutes. I had to call my mom just to kind of bring myself back together because it hits differently when you're interviewing these families that have gone through so much and when their daughter, probably won't make it that far in life. So that was really touching and I was honored to be able to tell her story and her family story. And then my Iowa versus Albany game recap where I got to cover the game and that was truly a dream come true. So, like I said, since I was 12 years old, I wanted to cover, football, sports media stuff, and just being on the sideline for that was I almost started crying tears of joy, Count. I'm going to be honest. When the swarm was going on, I was on the field recording that, and then going back to last year, my last package with the Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever game at Carver Hawkeye Arena against the Brazilian national team, where our sports team is now being nominated for an award in October. I got to go to a watch party there, and I was so nervous for that. I don't know why, because there's all these random Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark fans, Iowa fans, and all of a sudden these two little girls just come up to me in my camera like, "Oh, are you interviewing people?" And I said, "Yeah, you want to be interviewed?" And they gave me like the best interview by far. Like I was so scared to like I don't know what was going on with me that day. I was just scared to reach out to people. And then people just kept coming up to me and I got like great interviews. I got great shots, great B-roll. Jan Jensen showed up, got a great shot of her and it ended up being one of my I think my best package of my freshman year. And it just amazes me how that just kind of came about, if I'm being honest.
That's a fantastic story. I remember watching that and really loving the way you told it. And like again, you, me, Elise, Ryan, all in that WIT
Yeah.
package that's up for ACP, which is Associated College Press Sports Story of the Year.
Yeah.
We'll give that some credit there. But I mean, that's the thing with student journalism is something you learn more so is like being able to reach out and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I think for anyone to like be able to walk up to someone and say, "I'm doing this. Can I speak to you for 5 minutes, or can I interview
Yeah.
you?" Because it is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially when they're just enjoying their time at this watch party, and like here comes this little old freshman journalist, like tapping on people's shoulders. No, but seriously, I got like 7 or 8 great interviews that day from people of all ages. So
I think that's like that. Like sometimes you're told when you're going into a story, it's like, "Oh, you don't want people to come up and ask you to be interviewed because then
right,
they won't give you." That is the perfect example where that is not the case because those are the
yeah,
people that are excited to be there and want to share why they're there, and that's like
mhm,
that's what watch parties for.
yeah. And some of them even end up going to the game
Mm.
afterwards. They were just there just to kind of to kind of start off the game, a pregame a little bit, and and then they just like the excitement on these little kids' faces it just brought true joy to me, and that made the package that much easier and more fun to tell.
Absolutely. When you talk about full joy, I mean, you talked about that football game. What about wait, hold on for a little bit until you make that trip up to Wisconsin.
Oh yes, I oh my god, I'm so excited for that. All my buddies are going to be there. They're going to be in the student section. I'm hoping to get one big picture of me in front of the student section with them.
Oh
They
yeah.
usually get good seats, so I'm hoping to run into them. But so you want me to tell you about the Albany game?
If you want to, go for it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like I said, it was truly a dream come true. I've been wanting to do that my entire life, and just I don't know. It was truly one of the best nights of my life. And we don't have to talk about how late my night was, how
I
long my
forgot
day
about that.
was. I ended up not getting back till 4 a.m. Part of that was my bad. I don't know what I was doing. I was struggling, but turned in a good story. And yeah, I had the time of my life that night.
Don't worry about the late night thing. That was me out in Rutgers and everything.
Oh yeah.
I will say it was definitely a later start time, but
Wow. Yeah.
that was a long night as well. That was a good night. But I don't think I can go. Well, I hold on. I gotta ask you this part first about being up in Wisconsin. Not the diss Wisconsin, but that means your friends get in there in time, right? They actually
Yeah.
get on time for the game.
Mhm.
Because you see, everyone knows about the pictures, like with the student section and everything.
Oh yeah.
Fill up until like the second quarter or midway through the first.
Mhm.
I don't know. So that means you've got good friends. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they're starting to get they're ready to be done with Luke Fickle, I should say. They're starting to move on, which
Yeah.
it's so crazy because my dad used to take me to, we'd always go to a game a year because he was a high school football coach. So you'd get like free tickets.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin had the most established identity in all of college football. They got the farm boys on the offensive line. They would always have one of the best offensive lines in the country, and they would just run the ball. You think of Ron Dane, Monte Ball, Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gord, Corey Clement, James White, just name a few guys. They had such an established identity, and they were just so unsatisfied with getting so close, but not getting to the playoffs, not competing for a national championship, that they went away from that. And then Luke Fickle brings the air raid, and that just doesn't work at Wisconsin. And
Nope.
now they're here. It's the lowest point in maybe Wisconsin football history. It's truly sad to see, even though I don't like Wisconsin because I'm at Iowa. I feel bad for them, honestly.
I do too, and I gotta have a lot of respect for Wisconsin. Like,
Absolutely.
but like it's so brutal for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's bad, but like I mean, you saw the over animated little cheer when you said they're done
Yeah.
with Fickle because like okay, as in Iowa, forget being journalists for a minute, being a fan of Iowa. It's nice to be Wisconsin, but out there.
It
But
absolutely is.
but like I am not a fan of Luke Fickle at all, and I don't know if you understand that saga at all. But
Well, I know the Cincinnati connection, so I wonder if that has something to do with it.
do you know? I'm gonna tell. I'll put this all out there. Why not? Do you know about the story of him leaving Cincinnati?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Okay, so obviously he's the head coach at Cincinnati. He's doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Brings in all these top recruits. He's doing what they should have done for years, like what Tommy Tuberville should have done, and recruit locally,
Yeah.
um, which is huge around that area. So obviously he's making it to the college football playoff. I remember that. Well, during that run, and right as they're making the postseason, Notre Dame's head coaching job opens up because Brian Kelly goes to LSU. Their first offer was Luke Fickle, and that was Luke
Mm,
Fickle's dream job. Like that's what he wanted.
really?
He turned it down at the moment because he wanted to finish out the postseason. He was like, I do not want to take another job and take away my players' like attention
Sure.
from me doing to another job. So they didn't wait, and they decided to go give the job to Marcus Freeman, obviously the head coach now, who was the defensive coordinator at UC. So he was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. Here's where things are kind of like off record, but like everyone knows that Luke Fickle got jealous of him. It was obvious, which I mean, fair. I mean, I gotta give him
Yeah.
that's fair. So the next year he's back in Cincinnati. They're doing great again at the beginning of the year. Well, mid-season they knew that who's Wisconsin's old coach again? Remind me. I'm
All
blanking.
Chris.
Yes, they knew they were done with him, which
Yeah.
was that was crazy. But um, they decided to reach out to Luke Fickle, who was the hot name for any team at the time, and he took the job.
Wow.
Not publicly because it was still mid-season. But this was like the last 2 weeks of the season, I should say. So, and you can if you go back and watch those games, you can see it because they're undefeated, and then they just blow these games that should not have been tough for them. And then Cincinnati still makes the American Championship game, and they lose disgusting fashion. You see like the final drives of like the final game of the year, and really the American Championship game. You watch the final drive, and the players are out there, like quarterbacks out there trying to like look over the sideline, look for plays,
Yeah.
and the coaching staff is just sitting there. Luke Fickle's just there, and they have to call their own plays, and obviously it didn't go well. And
Wow.
as soon as that like week was over, he was in Wisconsin. Game was over.
Wow.
He was in Wisconsin. He coached with Wisconsin in their bowl game. Um, and it was bad enough to where he had a son on Cincinnati's team at the time, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, he was solid, but he was mostly there because his dad was there and everything.
Right.
Like that's why he stuck with Cincinnati at the time.
Right.
And he decided not to follow his dad to Wisconsin and literally posted publicly that he was like upset. He's like, I will not follow him. I can't believe you left and
Oh my
everything.
God.
He was livid. But that's the Luke Fickle saga with Cincinnati. So he was like a hero there, but I don't think he's ever welcomed back in that city
I
because
did not know that.
he trashed that place on the way out. Had players out of the way. Like And that obviously that program's been horrible since Cincinnati football.
Yeah.
They've had some decent talent. They've got some good talent right now, but like they're not great at all. And I'm not like I'm not like, oh yeah, darn Cincinnati. Like I'll cheer for them and everything since I'm from there, but I'm not like
Mm.
butthurt over it. It's
Yeah,
just
sure.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's I didn't realize. Also, I didn't realize Marcus Freeman came from Cincinnati.
That's yeah, that's
I
where
never I never
yeah,
realized that. Huh.
he was defensive coordinator there.
Wow.
And I think everyone knew he was going to take a head coaching job because he was incredible with
Yeah.
that defense. Because that was the defense that had like Sauce Gardner and everything. If you remember that defense, and that was
Yeah.
they were
Ivan
loaded.
Pace.
Ivan Pace, Corey. I
Yep.
mean, they were loaded. Which I mean, you would know half of the UC defense at that time because they're all in the Minnesota practice squad right now.
I all I know is Ivan Pace.
Pace, Corey Kiner,
Oh yeah, they just signed Kiner.
Desmond Ritter. I mean, he's not on the defense, but
I forgot we signed Desmond Ritter. That's
that's
on me.
crazy.
That's on me. I forgot about that.
No, you're well. That like just happened though.
Yeah,
So
last
and
week.
again, practice squad. So it's not like the front of your mind. You're worried about Carson Wentz and JJ McCarthy right now for obvious
Right.
reasons. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But no,
Hmm.
that's the Luke Fickle saga. That's wild.
That is.
Yeah, no, I was telling that story to Brad the other day actually when we were on our flight back from Rutgers. Um, just to throw a little shout out to Brad Schultz out there on the Prince side of the Daily Island.
Shout out
Um,
Brad. Another shout out.
shout out Brad. He'll probably everyone that we're shouting out, probably including Brad, will probably be on the show at some point. Also, just
Gotta
a little,
have Brad on.
of course. I was telling him I'd have him on. I'm just gonna space it out a little bit, but he's coming on the show 100%. That'll be a fun episode. I'll get him talking about the Bears and just see where it goes. I'll probably take up 30 minutes,
Yeah, I could talk for like an hour about the Bears.
probably, which fine by me because I'm gonna. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you this already is that because you're not a Bears fan, but um for BTK tomorrow night, I'm gonna. Oh, I forgot to do that, but I'm going to throw in a little Bears joke to my recap. Um,
All right.
it'll be beautiful. Just know that it's happening. But you also brought up like the kid captain story. And I think at Iowa, we can't really pass up this opportunity because it's very unique at Iowa.
Yeah.
One of the top traditions in college football is the wave. But with that also comes the kid captains. And obviously the kid captain was a tradition first, but we have a unique opportunity to tell stories in sports about those type of kids. And I mean, they are very touching and everything. But I want to ask you, why do you feel like it's important to tell those stories, especially as student journalists at Iowa compared to anywhere else?
Well, for me, it gives us, I mean, like you said, us in sports, we get to tell the stories. It gives us a different taste of journalism. Instead of, game recaps, feature stories with athletes, it's telling these inspiring stories through Hawkeye football, but also through the university and the children's hospital. And I mean, they're connected with the players. They go to the kid captain practices. They go to not media day. I'm blanking on what it is exactly. The kid practice. I mentioned it, and they're just like you said, touching stories that we get to put out there, and we really get to, you know, I'm starting to get a little emotional right now, just thinking about it. Seriously, just I don't know. Yeah, just
Because they're all great people too. They're all great.
exactly.
And the more you do some of them, the more like I've met some of those families now after doing it.
Yeah,
It's a lot, but it
it hits hard.
really does. Like,
Some of the stuff they go through.
and you mentioned a different taste of journalism, a different
Mm.
angle of journalism. Why is that important to have under your belt?
It's good to have variety because I was talking to Charles, one of our coaches, about this yesterday. Is that sports is very specific in the way you tell stories, like game recaps and feature stories, but news is told a lot different. And then these kick captain stories, fall on another branch of journalism where it's touching, it's heartwarming, it's emotional, it's supposed to get you in your feels. It's good to have different areas of storytelling under your belt. So when you go in the real world, you have all this in front of you.
Absolutely, it is. And again, that's why we tell the stories. It's why they're nice. And
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want to use the word fun in a way of telling those stories. They're
Right.
just they're yeah. I don't want to use the word fun as in like, oh, it's happy to tell stories about kids who are sick and not doing. But it is so rewarding
It makes you feel good.
to be
Yeah,
able to share the story of someone who absolutely deserves it.
exactly. 100%.
It's hard to find the words with some of those,
It,
but
it, it is. I
especially
was
when you're
struggling
doing
there
it,
for a
especially when
moment.
you're like actually telling the story.
Yeah. No, and the first one with Gwendolyn week 3 for the UMass, I was struggling to compact all this information because there's so much that's going on with her and her family throughout her entire 7 years of her life. It's hard to put it all into a minute 30 to 2 minute package. I was struggling to kind of cut it all down because there's so much important information in these really touching and kind of awe-inspiring stories.
That was one of the hardest things for me too off the bat when I was doing like my first few kid captain stories, I
Yeah.
should is there is so much you can tell. But
Mhm.
getting to the meat of what the story is, getting the
Right.
juice, like this is who this person is.
Mhm.
Um, I think you learn a lot out of it. I think personally it's helped me tell other stories as well.
Yeah.
And then you've also mentioned when we talked about DITV, but getting a little taste of KRUI as well. So
Mhm.
I'll bring up again for those who are unfamiliar what KRUI is and some of the stuff you've done there.
Yeah, so KRUI is our student radio station here at the University of Iowa. They, I've actually never been in the studio, but we do have a studio in our union, in our memorial union. We there's you can have an opportunity to host shows and kind of on all categories, and we have a sports section that's led by Aiden Wirtz, who I believe you'll probably have Aiden on
Oh yeah,
eventually.
100%.
You'll have him on, and I only got the opportunity to call two baseball games in the spring with Mr. Ryan Paris, who you already had on. And first of all, baseball is not my sport. I played baseball growing up. I do not understand any of like the advanced statistics. I understand what's going on in the game, but like just especially doing color commentary, bit of a struggle there. And I did a lot of color in high school for basketball, but baseball was a different breed for me. And it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I probably sounded like an idiot a couple of times just talking about baseball, but we got to call some good games. We got to call a 1-0 thriller against Nebraska that started out. I think they did not sweep that series, but they did win that series. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and then looking forward to our call for
Yeah.
Iowa Michigan State. I've never called football before, but that's my sport, so I'm looking forward to that. Calling Iowa Minnesota with Ryan later this year, coming up in about a month, and I'm really looking forward to basketball. I've called over like 30 to 35 basketball games. So looking forward to getting back into that.
Was that just in high school?
Yeah, it was just in high school,
That's
my senior year of high school.
so okay. Was that like a club affiliated with the high school, or was that like, is that an outside group that came in? What is that?
I'm glad you asked because it's very interesting. So Oregon Cable Access, OCA Media, they had a studio in our high school, and they like covered like community events and our sporting events. And my friend Dean, who I've told you about, he was he called the games by himself, both boys and girls, his sophomore and junior year. And his junior year, he really wanted me to be his color guy, and I kind of said no. I didn't really want to put my voice out there. Finally, convinced me our senior year, so we called girls basketball and boys basketball, and I even got to do a little bit of hockey my senior year play by play. So yeah, and actually it was a lot. It was a lot of fun because our boys basketball team had the number one ranked player in the class of 2026 in the state of Wisconsin. So, on a random Thursday night against the Beaver Dam Beavers, he was throwing down windmill dunks. The 6'6" long blonde haired kid named Vaughn, who we can see your face. I know, I know. I'll have to show you this kid after our call, but we're friends with his older brother Reese. We graduated with him, and Vaughn now he has offers from Bama, Ole Miss, Iowa, Wisconsin, Marquette, Syracuse. So he's the real deal. And then our girls team went 24-0 in the regular season. So those were fun games to call. I guess I've never told you this. And then they end up losing in the state semifinal off of some kind of stupid stuff that we can get into if you want.
Do you want to relive it though? Is my question.
I mean, if you want me to get into it, I would be happy to.
Go for it. Why not?
Okay, so yeah, so OCA Media, we call boys and girls basketball. So some nights we would have two or three home games that we would call on like a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or maybe even a Saturday game in there. And our girls basketball team was 24-0. Obviously, Badger Large Conference champs. And the way they seeded it that year was very different. They had the top three teams in their section. It was like determined like before the regular season, like which teams are in like which like bracket. I know it's really weird. So we were the one seed. Arrowhead was the two seed. Then the three seed was Verona, which Taylor Stremlow played for, Iowa guard. She's a sophomore.
That's
And
right.
we ended up losing to Arrowhead in the state semifinal. So they didn't make it to state, and they were 27-0 at one point. So kind of unfortunate, but it was a cool ride. Seriously, for the 1 year I did it, we had some great calls, especially with the kind of with Vaughn on the boys team and the girls team that was undefeated. So we were riding the hype train, as Dean said during one call. So
Strong Wisconsin basketball, it sounds like.
yeah, actually, um, it was really funny because our girls team we didn't really have any like D1 or D2 athletes. They were just a very solid, well coached team and just played team basketball. They played Tegan Mulaney's team, another
Mm.
sophomore girls basketball player, and they like shut her down, embarrassed her. I think she had like less than 10 points. So that was they had some we had some really good calls that year.
I'm gonna get you an interview with Mulaney now, and I'm gonna have you bring that up. Like they made you look silly out there.
I've actually been thinking about interviewing her or Stremlo because they're both from the Madison area.
Go, you should. I think that'd be a good story too. Like actually
I
serious,
just
that'd be a good
I just
story.
don't know what angle I would approach with it.
Studs from Madison. I don't know. We'll figure something out. They're worth it. They're worth an interview.
Definitely
They're
worth
good
it.
about everything. But
Yeah.
I've always hockey sounds interesting to me. I've never called hockey. Um, but that's something I would love to try at some point.
Mhm. Hockey's tough because it's so fast paced. And I was alone for the call, so I was, just lone play by play. I filled in for the regular guys. I don't never found out why they missed it like three or four games, but called four games there. And I knew hockey because I played hockey for 5 years growing up. So yeah, I kind of picked up on it quickly. First period of the first game was a little rough, kind of, catching up on everything. But once I got the hang of it, got pretty good at it. And once again, our hockey team made it to state the year before and lost in the state championship game. And then this year they were again really good. We had the all-time leading goal scorer in Wisconsin State history on our team. So that was fun to call. So we had a lot of really good athletes at my high school that, helped out with our calls truly.
Yeah, Oregon athletics sounds like a beast. It sounds like it's hard to run through, especially. I mean, you talk about that Vaughn kid, the girls
Yeah.
team, the hockey team. You want to talk about the quarterback there.
I don't know about him.
Come on, come on.
He had some shoulder problems his senior year.
If it weren't for the old shoulder.
Oregon football is, no offense, kind of in the basement of all Oregon athletics. And that was the one sport I played.
But it was for other reasons. It was for other reasons.
Definitely, definitely.
Don't yeah, give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit. Should I splice this and have like the highlights come in?
No, no,
Kidding. I
no.
promise.
No one wants to see our wing T 1970 style offense.
Forgot about that. My gosh.
Run the ball 90% of the time.
You got the like the Air Force or
Yeah, the Army,
The Navy
the
triple
Navy Army
option.
playbooks.
The Navy triple option.
Sadly, no option. Would have loved to run it.
Option would have been nice. Even though the whole triple option Navy is just run the ball, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what that it is Navy with the triple option. I'm not crazy, right?
Yes.
Okay. I might have just embarrassed myself and looked like an idiot, but We're all good. I gotta trust in myself a little bit sometimes.
No, you got it.
We're good. We're good. You brought up the football game being that's gonna be your first call, right?
Yep.
I gotta I gotta mention that last year was the first time I ever called football in my life, and it was at Ohio. It was a game at Ohio State,
Oh, wow.
and I had not let anyone know or anything that was my first. Like it just happened to be the first one I got on.
Yep.
Um, we were. It was after the first quarter, so we're sitting there. It was Aiden Wirtz and I calling the game. We're just chit chatting between the first and second quarter, and I looked at him and I went, like we were talking about, like I'm like, hey, is any suggestions you have for me or whatever? He's like, oh, it sounds fine, whatever. And I cut him off and went, oh, by the way, this is my first time calling football. Sorry that I didn't let you know sooner.
That's a
It went
hilarious.
fine. It went
Okay,
fine.
that's good.
Like I'll let you know. I plan on letting him know after the game, but I couldn't. I just it kind of just slipped out of the mouth, so
Sure.
it was fine. It was fine. It was good. But no, I'm looking forward to that game with us and everything because I don't know. It'll be fun. I think we'll have fun on it. But I want to ask with calling those games in high school, you mentioned opening up that almost letter to yourself, pretty much about wanting to
Mhm.
be a writer for the Vikings or ESPN. Was it that kind of solidified you wanted to continue, or were you in the middle of like a basketball season process of calling games like, hey, this is maybe up my alley to do in college?
Actually, no, it even goes back before that in high school. I was gonna say kind of started my sophomore junior year where we were actually in health class sophomore year and we were kind of doing an assignment like plan out like your future like whatever like one of those assignments.
Mhm.
And I was like 4-year college, oh, I want to do sports media, and then you know turn it into journalism. That's basically what it is. So and then after that, and then later sophomore year we were signed up for classes for junior year, and actually I got really lucky. It was the last year, my junior year was the last year they ever um, enrolled students in journalism one and journalism two, the classes. So I got that, and it was with truly one of my favorite teacher of all time, Miss Griner. Shout out to her. She she's amazing. So journalism one was first semester, basically just like the nitty gritty, the basis, like the five W's, seek truth and report it, all the basic journalism stuff. And then we had to write, two feature stories on two of our classmates, kind of dull stuff. But then second semester journalism two, half the class left because it wasn't required to like take one and two. It was just kind of whatever. And there was 10 people in my second semester journalism class. I was one of two guys, and we started the Panther Press, which is like our online kind of school newspaper. And we were kind of not really assigning beats. You kind of do whatever you want, but I was the only person that had any interest in sports,
Hmm.
and I took that and ran with it. The class was super easy, but it was super beneficial. All we had to do was just write one article a week, and at the end of the week, just had to turn it in. So during that time, during my two study halls, second semester of my junior year, just went around, talked to my fellow Panther athletes, as I like to call them, classmates. I got to put out some really cool stories, and one of my favorite ones is I interviewed Vaughn. That was his freshman year, and this other kid, Braden, who is currently getting recruited for football at UNI. So, and they were two freshmen over like 6'5" playing varsity football and basketball. And that was like, not never really seen at our high school. Vaughn just played basketball. Braden Hermsdorf was my scout team tight end my junior year and was on the varsity basketball team. So I got to, write about them, about being freshmen on the varsity team. That was truly probably my favorite article I ever wrote, and it was my first one.
And sometimes it's right off the bat what your thoughts are. You're not
Yeah,
thinking too much. That is your best piece of work.
yeah.
Is
And
that what?
then, or you go.
No, you go for it. Go for it.
Okay, well then in that journalism class, I met another person that has truly benefited me so much, Mr. Tynan. To this day, I think they set it up. Miss Griner, Miss Tynan. Mr. Tynan walked in, never talked to him. He comes up to me with a microphone in the middle of class. He's like, "I want you to hold this." He gives it to me. I'm holding it. He's like, "Do you feel powerful?" I'm like, Sure. Like, yeah, I mean, sure. And then he was kind of like the head of Panther Radio, or like kind of school radio station. He's like, I want to, beef up Panther Radio. I want to make it a weekly thing. I want you to do a sports segment for us because I like your writing. So I would have a weekly, just 1 minute to 2 minute kind of sports recaps of Oregon high school sports. I end up doing both Oregon sports and no national sports, all the national stuff, college, NFL, baseball, hockey, basketball. And then through that, I met another person, Mr. Rogers, who was who was the leader of our Panther Vision team. I know, creative names, just mascot, and that was our school TV station. And then at the time, Panther Vision just had two anchors. They're both seniors, and they just hosted the entire show. So they did, announcements, lunch menu, sports, you name it. He's like, I want you to be our sports anchor. So then the last 3 semesters of my high school career, I was the sports anchor for Panther Vision. And that's kind of how I started in TV.
See, this is making a lot more sense why you're so good at Iowa now. This is making a lot more sense. I
I,
laugh
I
when
did
you
a
said
lot in high school. Yeah.
yeah, I laugh when you said Mr. Rogers because okay, the similarities between your guys' mascot was the Panthers in high school. Our high school mascot was the Panthers. You had Mr. Rogers, and one of my like journalism teachers was Mr. Rogers. That's
No way.
our version of Mr. Rogers. So you said that, I was like, this is getting crazy now. We're
That's
lined
insane.
up. And you like the creative name was it Panther? What was it?
Panther Vision.
Panther Vision. Okay, it's still a little bit more creative. Like our name
Yeah.
was the high school name was Elder, so it's Elder News Network. So like not
Okay.
much more creative, but
Yeah. And then Panther Vision, I would have 2 segments a week. Um, and we would have a 5 to 7 minute show, and it would play for 5 minutes during fourth period or whatever. So I got to do some interviews with some coaches. We had a Hall of Fame coach retire for track and field who I got to interview. Got to do a lot of really cool stuff. So that was kind of my start into it.
it's a great experience to get in high school, and it's fun because
Yeah,
you kind of have like little. You don't really have a leash in high school. You kind of just get free
no,
roam with stuff.
exactly.
You get you can do a lot of like, and even just with I don't know if you filmed anything or if you worked with a camera at all in high school, or if you were just like doing more of anchoring and hosting a
Yeah,
show. But no, you kind of just I remember once as I was all behind the scenes in high school. So I started stuff there, but
yeah,
I wasn't on air for anything ever. I was only behind the scenes spot. So I filmed a lot. I would go to games and film them. And I was like, I think I can go anywhere with a camera. They're not going to question it because it's high school, and who else is going to bring a camera to a high school
right.
game? But I mean, you talked about getting the mic in your hand, and I like that you brought it the writing because, like, one, I think part of it is that you got a good voice. You sound great. You come across well. So one of it's that, but also writing is such a like great foundational piece that you need in any form of journalism. I
Mhm.
think you probably see that with your time at Iowa.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Angie and Charles are, our two coaches. So I keep mentioning, like, stress it so much that, writing has to be such a specific way in journalism that it almost like teaches you to be a better writer. I mean, like, that's what it is. Like, it's just practice and reps. And the writing is slightly different in journalism. I don't know if you would agree. Yeah.
I would, yeah, absolutely. Oh, like, yeah, no, I would agree that it is definitely different. And I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel like you adjust the trying to write in a more journalistic style?
Man. Like you're saying, like in high school?
Whenever, honestly, if you started to learn even in high school, because that would make more sense.
Mhm.
How did you learn to adjust from your normal writing or an essay style of writing to a
Got it.
journalistic writing style?
Got it. I've always felt like I've been a pretty strong writer even when I was younger. Um, but I mean, just it goes back to when I was like growing up, just even like playing Madden, just listening to how the commentators talked, or on the TV and sports centers, how they kind of talk through things, how they recap stuff. And I kind of just, for all the times I've heard it on the TV, in my dad's car on the way to school, kind of just use that and kind of just emulated that. And that's kind of how I just kind of, went into my journalistic writing style, truly.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that's pretty much what it is. That's how I mean,
Yeah.
I will admit I'm not the greatest writer in the world at all, but like
I just basically like, oh, this is how I feel like it would sound on TV when I'm hearing it. All
Exactly.
voiceover
Yeah.
works in TV, so
Yeah.
that's pretty much how I do it as well.
Yeah. No, you took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly.
So, I mean, however it sounds, I think it would sound best. I'm going to try my best to emulate that. But I mean, it sounds like you had a great foundation for journalism in high school. You built the bricks there, and then you go off to Iowa, you're crushing everything. And that's why it led to a pretty cool experience with KWWL as well, if you want to dive into that.
Yeah. So randomly, just one day in July, I got a message on LinkedIn from someone on the marketing team at KWWL Channel 7 in Waterloo. And she said, our sports director, Rick Coleman, who's a great guy, I actually saw him at the football game back in August. And she said that that he really liked my reel, all the stuff I posted on LinkedIn, and that he just wanted to chat. I'm like, sure. Like, why not? So we called for about 15, 20 minutes, and he offered me an opportunity just to cover high school football games. So all I do is I work one night a week. Monday or Tuesday of the week, they release the schedule. They send me, tell me what game I'm going to, go to the game, and basically just cover the game. I spend one half there because the show Friday Night Heroes is the show, I should say, and it starts at 10:30 Friday night. So it's a late show, and most high school football games end at 9 or 9:30. I gotta run back home, gotta get my laptop out, put my SD card and all that, and I gotta put a story together. So usually I only stay till halftime, drive home, and then put my story together, and then I send it in, and then they have the final score afterwards after my package because I sent it off back to Rick in the studio. So I've truly enjoyed it. The first game was a bit rough, had some camera issues, had to kind of work through that. And then I saw Rick the next day. He was very nice about it. So, but the last few times I've really liked how my packages have turned out.
What's different about telling high school football stories than the stories that you tell with Iowa athletics, whether it's Iowa football, Iowa volleyball, Iowa basketball? What's the separation there?
Hmm, that's a really good question. I have to think about this one for a second, Colin.
Or maybe rather, what's the addition? Like, what do you kind of add on to what
Yeah.
you've been doing? Like, how does it kind of almost add to your your portfolio of what you've done?
High school football is there's a lot more, you can have a lot more fun with it, I think. Obviously, like you still need to be a professional, on screen, but college football is so specific. Like you need to, you need to be a professional. You have the press conferences, you have the coaches interviews, you have the media scrum. And while football, you can kind of play around with it a little bit. Like I in my second package, the high school Alburnett returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. I did he could go all the way. Like something like that. So you can have a little more fun with it. You can get some more cool shots of, the student sections, the fans. You can play around with it a little more, essentially. You can be more creative with it. Not saying you can't be creative with the Iowa packages, but and I don't want to say like you want to be less professional, but you can sorry, you can
You get
play
what you
around with
mean.
it a little more. Yeah,
You can have fun with every single like your
exactly.
script and your stand ups and
Yep,
everything. But you mentioned you're there for a half of the
yep.
game, right? And for some people, they think, oh, but what about the second half? You're not there to see the second half. Does it
Mhm.
ever really deter how you tell a story just by not being there in the second half?
It definitely could be. I have not experienced that so far. The three games I've covered have actually all been blowouts. I think it's been 30-0, 59-21, and like 40-7 or something. So I haven't missed much. It's usually one team has a big lead at halftime, and then I just send it back to Rick in the studio in my stand up, and then he's like, "Yeah, nothing really changed much here, Cole, as this team dominated the other team." So it definitely can, like absolutely, but so far I have not experienced that.
And the nice thing for people that they might not realize too when they listen to this is that that's not just a you thing. Like they're not telling, hey, you're a kid in college, only go for a half and go over this
Yeah,
game. That's what they do in those local stations at a professional
yeah.
level. And not just for high school football, for high school basketball, for a lot of just sports in general. They're there for only so long.
Yeah, no, at the Iowa Albany game, Rick, who, is the director at KWWL. He didn't even come out for the second half. I don't think he was in the media room putting his story together because they got to get it out. They're on a time schedule. Hard time, and they got to get it in. So respect to them. And I would love to stay for the full game, but there's just a bit of a time crunch.
Absolutely. I've only been on some of those a few times, and I didn't have to put together a story even. So I got
Yeah.
lucky, but I just had to put together footage from games.
Mhm.
And only one time did it become really difficult because it was our high school baseball team was playing at Great American Ballpark, home of
Okay.
Cincinnati Reds, for those unfamiliar. But please, Lord, make the playoffs, even though it's not looking pretty right now. Maybe when this releases, it'll look a little better. But anyways, they were playing there against a team, and it was a 1-0, 0-0 ball game pretty much the entire time. And they were a little delayed from a game in front of them.
Mhm.
So I'm putting together this footage, and as I'm hitting submit, like 15 minutes, 10 minutes before it's due, all of a sudden we start scoring again. And it's like at this point, like you can't put anything else in. It might have been like 3 minutes actually. I'm trying to give myself more credit. I think it was like 3 minutes before the deadline.
Yeah,
But, and thankfully I didn't have to do it. So I just had to give them footage so they could do a voiceover. But still, it's tough. It can be tough, especially with this
it
deadline.
is. I mean, in my first package, Iowa City West was the underdog against Iowa City High, and they were winning 13-0 at halftime. So I'm like, I think City High could maybe come back here. So when I sent it back to the studio, I said, football is always a tale of two halves. I'll send it back to you. So it's kind of leaving it open even is definitely a possibility, but they end up winning 30-0. So
How strong? Okay, so we're both not from Iowa City. I'm unfamiliar with. Is that a really strong rivalry? Did you get a sense of that when you're at that game?
it was they played for a trophy. It's called
Oh yes.
the Battle for the Little Boot. I was really upset because Rick said that the trophy was going to be out on City High's sideline because they won it the last 3 years, and it was nowhere to be found. I was going to do my stand up in front of it, and I couldn't because it wasn't there.
Why not have it out? Why not at least like
Yeah,
show it
usually it
off?
was out apparently, and it wasn't that night.
That's horrible. You know what? And they won. They got it back though.
Yep, City West got it back. They have a couple Iowa commits.
You know what? You know what? Just for not having it out, not wanting to show it off and have a little.
Exactly.
That's bragging rights. You know what? They should have
Yeah,
lost it. They should have lost it.
yeah, they deserve to win that for not presenting it out.
I don't know anyone on either side, so I can just go for it. I don't like. I barely know the teams. I'll be honest. I think I've got a friend who's like an assistant coach with City West, City High. I don't know which one, but he's helping out
Mhm.
coach somewhere. I could ask him again, but so maybe I would hope that his team won, but I don't know. So whoever they didn't show off the trophy, they don't deserve to have it. That,
Exactly.
that's my story. I'm running with it.
I agree with that.
Don't change my narrative. Don't change my narrative. Um, I also wanted to bring up, and I don't, you'll love this. You host a podcast of your own. If you want to talk about that real quick, I want to give your co-host a little love too. So
Yeah, so me and my friend Jake Stevens, who we met on our dorm floor last year, started a podcast. What are you laughing about?
I don't know.
Okay, we started the All 32 NFL podcast. It's kind of raw. We haven't really done much with it. We want to add more to it. We're still kind of working on promoting it, but pretty much just film once a week, usually a Tuesday or Wednesday in the Adler Journalism Building at the university, and we just go through each game, recap it, preview the next week, any other talking points. We have draft coverage in the spring, and we're strictly NFL. We might try to expand it to college football, and we're working on something. It's a work in progress, but yeah, we started in I think November of last year, so kind of halfway through the football season last year.
But it's fun. That's what matters. It's a fun thing.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Um, like I said, definitely a work in progress. So I'll give it a shout out. You can maybe put
I'll
in the
link it.
description.
Here's
Awesome.
I want to give it a little promo. It's we weren't gonna go by without bringing it up at all. Come
Yep.
on, we weren't gonna go by without it. I got you.
I appreciate it.
Of course. But we've brought up all these experiences that you've had, some of your favorite stories, favorite experiences, um, and obviously you've done quite a bit with it. So when you think about student journalism, why would you tell someone on the outside looking in that student journalism is important? It's an important thing to have, and it's important for people to pay attention. So
Because we care. And also, I don't know if people realize this, but we're in the press conferences with all the professionals. We interview the players with the professionals at all the, media outlets, where we talk to the coaches, we talk to the players. We do everything that they do. All the professionals that have been in the industry for 20 to 30 years. We're there with them. And sometimes being a student, we can get better connections with the athletes because they're our age, where we're sitting in class with them, where and we have the opportunity at the university. We're so close to tell these stories that maybe that the others can't. So that's what I think, especially just like I said, we care, we're dedicated, we're trying to break into the industry. So we're going to go all out to put our best work out there.
and you brought up like being able to, since we're so close to the university, the
Yeah.
athletics department, that we can tell some stories that other outlets probably wouldn't. And I think I have one in mind for you, but I want to ask, have you ran into one of those stories that you've been one of the only people to tell?
It's slipping my mind. I think you have something like one of my former stories. I can't think of it right now.
I I would argue your marketing story. No
Oh,
one else really
yes.
dove into it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like kind of my break into sports. That's my first kind of sports adjacent
I
story.
love that story.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I only had one source, so I wish I would have gotten, some more sources. I kind of ran out of time. But I interviewed the marketing director for Hawkeye Athletics on the court of Carver Hawkeye Arena because, as you guys know, our boys basketball team, or men's basketball team, I should say, over the past 3, 4 years has been brutal. They're not selling tickets. While the girls team with, Caitlin Clark, I have my shrine of her back here. I don't know if you can see that.
I
I
see
have a
it.
picture
I
of
see
I have a
it.
picture of her. Um, they're selling out every game. Even last year when she was gone, they were selling out every game. They're making a ton of money, ton of revenue. And the men's team, you go and there's like 3,000 people. So I wanted to ask him, what are you doing to put students in the seats? What are you doing marketing wise to promote the games more? And he gave me a lot of really good stuff, and that truly was one of my favorite packages. I completely forgot about that one.
I like that one a lot. And I think like a lot of places would talk about it, but no one really told the story of one, what was going on.
Yeah.
And two, I think the cool aspect of making it almost a positive of what they were trying to do to make
Yeah.
it enjoyable for fans to come.
It made me feel really good actually because when I first got to Cover Hawkeye Arena, Brian Clark, I believe is his name.
I think so, yeah.
I apologize if I got that wrong, but he was kind of on edge. He was kind of, didn't look like he was in a good mood because he probably thought I was going to rip into him about, how bad the attendance was. And then once we kind of started talking, once we smoothed things over, he was very nice about it. He gave me some great answers, and I put it in a positive light. And actually, I think KCRG kind of did a similar story, and they kind of put it in a bad light. So I wonder if that's why. But I spun it in a positive way, and I mean, now we got Ben McCollum. I think the attendance is going to start going up.
Ben
So I'm
McCollum,
excited for that.
Ben McCollum's awesome. I did check real quick. It is Brian Clark. So we got
Okay,
that. You're good.
awesome.
You're good. No, I'm very excited for the Ben McCollum era. It should be a lot of fun. I mean, he's
I'm
a great
looking
dude.
forward to it.
People are excited for his like for the basketball portion of him, but
Mhm.
just for him around Iowa City. He's already been out and about a lot, wants to connect, and people like him. Period. I think I like
He
forget his
seems like
basketball.
such an energetic and just like amazing guy, which is like, no offense to Fran, he was kind of bland.
Yeah, like well, that's the thing what you need with that program. Like Fran McCaffrey done a lot. He did so much for that
He
program.
did. He
He did
did.
a lot, but you can only do so much sometimes. And that program, I mean, you're losing fans. You're not bringing many in. So what you need is life, energy, and that's exactly what Ben
A
McCollum.
younger guy.
Yes, and that's what
Yes.
Ben McCollum is.
Yeah. And Iowa has been his dream job, it seems like, for forever. And like you said, Fran's done a lot. Did run into him at the dining hall a couple times last year in August before the season. He's a big chicken fried rice guy and a big soup guy. I found that out. So shout out Fran.
That's what student journalists can do. Who else can tell you that he's a big chicken and rice and soup guy?
I'm like, chicken fried rice, really, dude? It's like a Wednesday in August. Like, what are we doing here, Fran?
Couldn't tell. You know what? I really couldn't tell you at all. So, well, maybe I wonder if he's keeping that up at Penn, which I think it's kind of cool that he got that job since that's his
I
alma
agree.
mater. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Ironic, I'll go and tell the story on behalf of Elise real quick, just to shout out to her. Um, but she was in Philadelphia for the men's national championships, men's wrestling national
Wrestling. Yeah,
championships.
wrestling.
Um, and she sends a text to all of us. Oh, by the way, I'm in the Philadelphia airport and I'm standing next to like Fran McCaffrey. And like the very next day, it was official that he had become the next head coach at Penn.
Wow. I never heard that.
Student journalism.
I see Elise every day. She's never told me that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much she's really talked about it because it's kind of
Uh,
like, oh, cool thing. But like,
that's very
I
cool.
got to tell her story about this. That's pretty cool for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her Fran McCaffrey going the Penn story. She was that close to breaking the story technically. She pretty much did.
Yeah, she pretty much did. That's awesome.
I'm gonna give her credit for that because we have to.
We
You know,
have to. Yeah.
why wouldn't we give her credit? But I mean, I think you brought up some good things about like student journalism saying we love it. We love what we
Mhm.
do, being able to tell some of those stories. Um, but on behalf of what student journalism is as a whole, with thinking about, yeah, we are trying to tell these stories that are like others as well. What do you think makes it unique besides the fact that, yeah, we love what we do? Because I think professionals, I think, love it as well for the most part, I would hope. What do you think makes student journalism unique from other outlets?
Unique from other outlets. Well, just kind of basing off the Daily Iowan, like you said, we're a student ran organization and we're such a tight knit group. I hate to repeat myself, but I met so many great people there. I'm continuing to meet so many great people, and that the collaboration we do with our morning shows is that there's so many cool stuff that we've done. I think of Hannah um, with her cop story where she like drove around Iowa City during like a Thursday or Friday night and basically just spent the night in the back of a cop car, like covering like what they do on a routine, like stuff like that. I don't know if the big outlets could like do stuff like that. I'm sure they could, but it's very unique, the stuff that we can tell here at the University of Iowa and all student journalism.
Absolutely, it is. And I want to kind of close out maybe with this because I think you're perfect for this question. And obviously, I love you. I think this will be great for you. I want you to think about everything that we've talked about, everything that you've done and where you're at right now, because you've done so many cool things. You've told
Mm-hmm.
stories of the marketing team, of plenty of athletes. You've called games on the campus.
Yep.
If you could go back and you could see that kid as he's opening up that letter to himself and reading that he wants to pretty much go in that direction, what would you tell him?
I would not believe it. I if I'll start with this. If all experiences I've had so far in, 2.5 semesters here at the University of Iowa, if I did that all 4 years, I probably would have been satisfied with it. And the fact that I still have 2.5 years left, I'm blown away, seriously. And there's so much more opportunities in front of me, and that's what I'm looking forward to most. I Looking back, I never thought I would be here. Maybe not like that harsh, but I never thought that I would be giving some of these opportunities that I am so early in my college experience. So
Perfect. I think it's a great message as well. And yeah, you've done so many cool stuff. And I want to ask you real quick, is there anything about your journalism career, your journalism journey that I may have missed that you want to share?
oh, another fun thing I did in high school, I did PA for softball and baseball my junior and senior year.
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh.
I
That was
announced
fun.
I did national anthem. I announced the at bats. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Gotta ask.
Yep.
Now, did you sing the national anthem or did you like present it?
No, I would say I would ask you to
Ah,
I would ask them to rise, remove their hats,
ah,
and then I would click play. So no, I did not sing the national anthem, unfortunately.
darn, darn. Well, fair because I didn't either. It was like I forgot about this until you brought it up. I didn't do anything on camera besides I did PA for freshman football my senior year. And the reason I did it is because my brother was on the freshman football team.
Mhm.
And the guy who did it was one of like my freshman year geometry teacher. And he pulls me in, like he calls me in one day. And he's like, "Hey, I know your brother's on the team. You're probably going to be there anyways. Do you mind doing
Mhm.
PA for it so I can get like a day off?" And I was like, sure, why not? And I didn't have to sing the national anthem either. I just hit play as well. But I was thinking like, ooh, I wonder.
Yeah,
But the nice thing too with it being like freshman football instead of like I don't know varsity
varsity.
baseball, varsity softball was I kind of had a little bit extra, probably too much fun with it. Like I would look up like let's just say I don't remember what it's called, but you know how specific animals have specific names for like hordes or
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
fish. It's a school of fish.
yeah.
Or I don't remember what they all were, but I would look up what it was for every game so I could say any tackle where I saw three or more people was just a blank of whatever.
Sure.
Um or like I remember one time my brother's team was getting killed by like a rival school and I said it Moeller, a lot. Elder, not a lot over the PA. No, I didn't know. No one cared. No one cared because it's freshman football.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I went for it a little bit there. But I'm sure you had to be a little like it's still fun, PA, but couldn't really say that for baseball or softball.
Yeah, no, I had to be a bit of a professional, doing starting lineups and at bats. Played the walk-up songs.
Oh, that's fun.
Walk-up songs were terrible for baseball. I gotta be honest.
Wait, hold on, time out. Walk up songs in general are terrible. Like their walk up songs are terrible.
Sorry, the Oregon Panthers
Okay,
varsity team was terrible. I like walk-up
they
songs.
can be
Like
fun. They can be
no,
good.
it's yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of walk-up songs, but the ones specifically in my senior year were duds.
That makes it brutal. That makes it
Yeah.
brutal. All right, if you had a walk up song,
Oh,
what do you think? Here's the thing too, though. I don't even know what my answer is. So if
I
you had
know what my
one,
answer would be.
okay,
So
what's
my
your walk up
brother,
song?
my brother played varsity baseball. I stopped playing baseball before my freshman year.
Hmm.
Um, his walk-up song senior year was first of all, have you ever seen the movie Little Big League? It's about the
Yeah,
twins.
yeah,
Yeah. You know the song Run Around Sue? It's like during the montage where they go on a winning streak.
yeah.
It's an older song. That was my brother's senior walk-up song. I think I would choose that one because it's
My
a
God.
kind of a baseball song because it's incorporated in that movie and it's
Mhm.
catchy. It's on my playlist actually. So shout
I
out.
think catchy ones work well. People are always like, "Oh, I want to go with this one. It's hardcore. It
Yeah.
sounds really high." I think catchy ones, because then the crowd has a little energy with it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. But that's what I would do with the Reds. I would sit there, like go down the side, as I was a ball boy for them
Yeah.
past summers, and I would judge the walk-ups. I'd be like, "Oh, this one's fun," and I like, "Oh, this is a great moment in the game," and then whoever would walk up, and I would be like, this is not the song to play at this moment at
Mhm.
all. It took me way too long to figure out who's what, like kind of memorize which walk up song belonged to which player, but
Yeah.
I got there eventually. I
Yeah.
got
I was a few summers ago, we were at a Twins game at Target Field, and I believe it was Gio Urshela. I'm not a baseball fan, so I don't know where he is currently. I know he's not on the Twins. His walk-up song was something very religious. It
Mhm.
was "Leave it all to Jesus. This is not where I belong." It was a banger. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it. It was just it was just different.
It was
So
very different. No, Gio
yeah.
Urshela is currently with the A's,
Okay.
and I don't think I think okay. I got to give a shout out to my cousin real quick, just because you said that name. I believe I'm correct with this. Is that my cousin's first professional strikeout in Major League Baseball was against Gio Urshela. Um,
Really?
I believe, and ironically enough, it's when my cousin was pitching for the A's. Um, at the time, Oakland. Now they're not Oakland the A's, but
Yeah.
it's a whole other story. But yeah, I got to give him a shout out real quick for that.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure that was his first big league strikeout. I shouldn't say professional because obviously minor leagues is professional, but
Yeah.
first major league strikeout, Gio Urshela.
I didn't
I think it's
realize that. I didn't realize that you had a cousin who played in the.
I do. So he debuted. Well, he was drafted by the Blue Jays. Okay, you're not a big baseball guy, but for those listening, the Matt Chapman trade when he was traded from the A's to the Blue Jays, when the A's were dumping everyone, this was kind of a bigger trade at the time. The Blue Jays returned 4 prospects to the A's, and he was one of them. And he made his debut with the A's, who were struggling quite a bit at the time. And ironically enough, his debut was against the Twins, at Target Field. So plenty of I have some family up in Minneapolis or St. Paul. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So they were at the game, but he pitched for the Tigers for a year as well. And then went down to the Braves, where he was on the roster a little bit every so often. Didn't appear for them, and later that season, so last season, was with the Dodgers at the very end of the year, and he did pitch in a few games for the Dodgers. So yes, he has a World Series ring that
Wow.
I've seen pictures of it, but I haven't seen it in person yet. I don't know if he's seen it in person yet either because he's currently playing in Korea.
Okay.
I think at this point his wife has brought it out to him, but like she was the first one to see it. So and she was the only one to have it for a while because when they get the rings and everything, it's already the next baseball season, and he's
Yeah.
playing over in Korea, which is like a 14-hour flight away. So
Right. Right.
and you're not gonna ship it over there. I don't know if she brought it to him, but oh well. Either way, that's
Hopefully you got it.
that's my he's seen pictures at the very least and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, no, he appeared in a few games, has a ring. Joel Keller is very happy about that.
Yeah. Shout out Joel.
Joel Keller. I texted him today about well, I was in the process of texting him last night after the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers and saying I was not happy about it, but I'm gonna be honest, I fell asleep mid text, so I texted him today. Uh about like I need the Dodgers to clutch up, which is not really cool because that means you're cheering for the Dodgers. But I can say that now. He's not on the my cousin is on the Dodgers right now. But if he is back on the Dodgers, I'll cheer for him. So we'll see. But
We'll see.
whatever happens, he's doing great over there. But I'm wishing him some luck. I got to give him some love while we're talking about him, obviously. But I want to give you a chance to go ahead and give a little bit of some love to yourself, a little bit of self promo. We've done enough. We've done plenty of shout outs. Give yourself a shout out and where people can go check out some of your work and see what you've been up to.
Yeah, so you can find all my sports packages on Instagram at Cole Krieger TV. Give it a follow. Need some more followers on there. You can also find all my work also at thedailyiowans.com. Type my name, Cole Krieger, all my stuff will pop up. Twitter at I believe it'll be below me, but
Yeah.
at Kriegs9 if you want to see all my Vikings rants, all my Viking content and Iowa content, go there. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, again, I'll make sure to link everything I can. And if you send me whatever you want linked, like I'll link specific stories and everything as well. So I'll
Yeah.
make sure everything is linked wherever this is provided. But Cole, again, thank you for sparing some of your evening for me right now. And I am so happy we finally got you on the student beat.
Yeah, no, thank you. I've been looking forward to it. Seriously. Love
Sure.
being on. I'm
Well,
sad
yeah,
that it's
again,
over.
I know. Well, I mean, part twos are a thing. You know what? Yeah, we can't close. You know what? Actually, we can't close out without that. We can't go for it. Go for it.
Without what? We make so many 6-7 jokes that it's bad. In the studio, Ryan and I just have a field day with it. It's so niche. If someone says 600, 700, 67, it's bad. It's really bad. It's taking over the studio.
At this point, it is truly flinch like an abused dog for me. Like I was in class and I heard my professor say something, and this was a day where I was walking in right as class was starting, and all the seats were taken up, so I had to sit like in not like okay. When you hear the front, you think like a front row.
Yeah.
No, my desk was turned like pretty much like right next to the professor's desk, and I was facing everyone. So when he said it, I went like this, just naturally,
Yeah.
he's like, how dare that? And I was like, I just exposed myself in front of everyone. Or like on the flight back from Rutgers, I sent the text that our pilot made a 6'7",
Yeah.
and I was, yeah.
I had a professor first day of class this semester. Hey guys, how's everyone's first week going? 6, 7. It was bad. And then, yeah, literally yesterday in class, one of our professors said, the word twice, and I'm like looking over at Ryan, like slowly trying to get his attention, and Ryan, it flew over his head.
I can't believe this is happening on the student beat right now. By the way, was this Oates? By the way,
It was Oates, yeah. He didn't mean to make a joke. He just said like 1967 or
oh
something.
yeah. No, I half of them aren't like even on Okay, I don't think half of them are on purpose, but
No,
I
it's just
that number is just like it will never be the same anymore.
no. On the
Like
morning show on Monday, one of our anchors said 600 to 700, and I lost it. I couldn't contain myself.
it's like when I was cutting my I was doing a throwback Tuesday post for Ben Holler's episode,
Mhm.
and I was listening to it to make sure it sounded fine before I posted it. And I was walking out of class and I heard him say 6 to 7 weeks.
Yep.
Um, and that was before that joke was ever a thing. So I didn't think about it until I cut it back up. And yeah, and I completely forgot about this. In football, my number when I was a little kid,
No way.
I
This is
forgot.
huge.
Here's the thing, I have not thought about that correlation until this moment.
Hey, let's go.
I
I
was
was
not my
listening.
number forever, but
I was listening to, was it Ryan Martin from Maryland?
yeah, Ryan Martin.
Yeah, he was talking about all the 6, 7 jokes in the, was it in the
Oh,
bullpen or on
yeah.
the Maryland baseball team maybe?
Probably with his the Falmouth Commodores, the team
Yes, that's who it was. His
yeah.
internship there. Yeah, he was saying like, I think the quote was like, you thought that they were 10 or 11 years old. So
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It's well, it's everywhere. It's not
It
just
is.
on the
It's
field, it's
taken
in the
over.
room, it's in the studio as well. It's honestly not even just it's not even in sports. Like that's just everywhere at this point.
It's bad. It's bad.
I'm sure I think I've talked to my brother about it, who's currently a senior in high school, and I'm sure if I asked him, they he'd tell me all these great stories about every second it's come up. Like, could you imagine sitting in a high school room for what like not a high school, we'll just say high school period, and you're there for what, like is it 8 hours or something of
Yeah,
classes?
3 hours.
And then you're there for however long after with extracurriculars. That how many times a day do you think you hear that? Over under 20 and a half.
Over. I'm hammering that
that's,
over.
that's a I feel like that's a high line too. Okay, yeah, but I feel like you get that in a class. Like there's one class where you get it once or twice, and then the rest, like there's another one where it's like some kid is just doing it.
Yeah.
No
I feel
restriction.
like I feel like I hear it over 20 and a half times here at University of Iowa.
Yeah, probably. Probably. So yeah, that's a bad line. I don't set the lines in Vegas for a reason. If I did, I'd skew them. I'd skew
It
them
could skew them.
100%. But I don't know. Have you seen the line for this Iowa Indiana game?
Is it 5.5 Indiana?
5.5 now. It keeps moving. Last I saw it was 7. Like I was in a meeting with Jason and Brad today, and I think they said it opened up at like 2.5, and now it's 7.5 Indiana.
Oh wow.
But
I mean that makes sense.
is it? Because Kinnick's the place where teams, top 5 teams. I know
Yeah,
Indiana's 11, but still, top 5 teams come to die.
that's true.
I'm
But
writing that.
they're coming off a 53-point drumming of Illinois, who I think Illinois was a little overrated. Like
Yeah.
we talked about that. But I think 7.5 is maybe more 5.5, 6.5. But I didn't even
Yeah,
say
you
it, Colin.
did. I think
Didn't
I
even
think
say
when
it.
I think at this point I'm just it's
You just think I'm gonna say it.
no, not even like that. I think anytime I hear the number 6 or the number 7, it's just
Yep,
like it's right there. It's a low hanging fruit.
it is.
How do we get to this point?
I, we were about to wrap up the show, and I went like this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How do we get to this point in general though? Like, oh my Lord. That was the one joke like I truly felt old with, as in like I did not understand anything about it for like
Yeah.
a few weeks. I was like, what does this mean? Where does it come from? I officially did not know something. Not the
Yeah.
call, well, the way that came across, not that I'm like, oh, I know everything. I don't. It's just like I had no idea what that
No,
meant.
I didn't know it. Yeah. No, I didn't know what it was either.
But we'll leave that to the side. We'll probably mention again in like 10 minutes. Anything else that I might have missed that you want to share?
Yeah. So actually, back in, I want to say May of my senior year of high school, my brother sent me this Twitter link to. So in Minnesota, there's this company called 10,000 Takes. It's kind of like, do you know them?
I've seen it on your in your bio, and I yeah, go.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure, sure. So it's kind of like maybe not satire, but it's not like true like journalism. And they had a blog, and they were hiring bloggers, and they just sent us in a submission. So that was the point where the Timberwolves they just swept the Suns in the 2024 playoffs. It was their first series win in like over 2 decades, and they were playing the defending champs, the Denver Nuggets. And my blog that I wrote was 5 ways that or 5 things the Timberwolves need to do in order to upset the Nuggets in the second round. And I had fun with it. One of it because their head coach like tore his meniscus on the sideline in the Phoenix series. So yeah, so he was like coaching from like behind the bench, and then Micah Nori, their assistant coach, had to kind of step in and kind of be like the active head coach. And I'm like, you need to keep him safe at all costs. Need to put him in a knee brace, stuff like that. Just saying dumb stuff. And I got email back from them saying like, we would love to interview you and hire you on as a blogger in June. So about maybe a month later, interviewed with them, absolutely hit it off with these guys, and I started a blog, and I just had to write one blog a week, and start off with new college football game, Minnesota Timberwolves stuff, Viking stuff. It was all Minnesota sports based, and it was opinionated. You can kind of just do whatever you want with it. They just post everything. Some of it was kind of some of the stuff that they posted was kind of like just like stupid crap. Once the Viking season started, and the Vikings, were expected to not be very good. Sam Darnold as our quarterback. They just kept winning and winning and winning. So I just started making these dumb kind of like 3 bold predictions for Vikings Falcons, Vikings Bears, Vikings Packers, and I would predict the games every week, and it got a lot of views. And actually at the quarterly meeting back in January of this year, I actually wrote the second most blogs for the company. So quick little, don't want to toot my own horn or
Oh,
anything.
do it. Come on.
Yeah, just a little pat on my back.
Yeah.
And they kind of shouted me out in like this meeting of like 30 or 40 people on Zoom. So that was really cool. And unfortunately, I loved it. Seriously, it was like one of the highlights of my week, first semester. This is before I joined DITV, I should say. And then unfortunately, like right as I was joining DITV, they sent a long text message saying like our company is they don't pay, they're not like a full-time company yet. It's not a full-time job for these people. They're kind of doing it on their own time. Um, and they said like, yeah, we're kind of running out of funds and we're gonna cancel the blog. So all my I was really disappointed. All my stuff just vanished from the internet. So don't know where you can get them. I think I have them like my drafts on like Google Docs or something. But
What on to those?
yeah, I'm holding on to those. But that was really fun. And then they still kept me around. And now I help run their 10,000 Howls, their Twitter and social media for their Timberwolves page with a couple other guys. 2 of them go to the University of Minnesota. That's Will and Evan. And then a couple other guys are professionals. One of them is a TV broadcaster in the, I want to say, the St. Cloud area, which is in more northern Minnesota. So that's a very cool opportunity I was given. Really wish the blog was still available because I would have loved to have fun with that. But yeah, that was another kind of outlet I was able to work for.
It's a beautiful mesh between journalism, telling stories, but like being a fan, just like
Yeah, oh,
expressing your
absolutely.
fandom through that.
I was so biased, like seriously. In journalism, you don't want to show your biases. I think I picked the Vikings every single week.
Have to.
I mean, they were winning it like, every game. They went 14-3 last year. But no, that was a lot of fun. And I kind of stepped away from it a little bit. I still do a little bit on their Twitter for the Timberwolves, but it's mostly the other guys who run it. I kind of just, go in every once in a while. We tried to like go live after every game back in December, and that kind of fizzled out a little bit. So we're working on some stuff, but we'll see what happens with that.
I think there's fun ideas in there as well. Like I like the 3 bold predictions per game thing. I'm gonna challenge you here with the rest of the Vikings season. What's a bold prediction for this season, or if you have a couple of them?
Bold prediction for this season. Oh boy.
I'm gonna challenge you to another one as well, but this first.
I think I think they make the playoffs. I don't think they win the division. I don't think that's really a hot take. A hot take is that I think JJ McCarthy, when he gets back healthy, kind of has a Jordan Love 2023 kind of end of the year where he kind of picks up, kind of gets hot towards the end of the year. I don't think they make much noise in the playoffs, but I think he kind of gets things going, kind of like, they call like Jordan like Toyota-thon Love, where in November
Yeah,
he
I
just
remember
picked
that.
it up and was playing like the best quarterback in the league. I think he kind of has sort of that. I don't think he wins rookie of the year or anything, but I think he starts kind of showing why he's going to be the franchise quarterback less 7 to 8 weeks of the year.
All right, I see that. And here's the other one I thought of, just because I mean we're students at the University of Iowa, and we're in the midst of Iowa football season. Any bold takes about Iowa football the rest of this year?
It's tough because just looking at their schedule, Colin, they play as of right now 3 top 11 teams all at home. I think they win one of those games.
Hmm.
I think it's this week versus Indiana. I mean, by the time this comes out, maybe they get blown out by 50. I mean,
This
who
will be out on
knows?
Friday. This will be out before the
Oh, be out
game.
on Friday. All right,
It'll be out on
perfect.
Friday.
So we'll see. Another bold prediction is that I think Kamari Moulton really solidifies himself as the RB1 and gets over 1,000 yards. He's missed a couple games, but I think he really kind of fills that kind of Caleb Johnson role that he left behind, which is another story that actually I put out recently. Go check out The Stable by Cole Krieger.
The stable. I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, I like that Molten take a lot. It would you said you think the Indiana game is the one they win out of those three. Did you pick them for BT? Oh no, it's Ryan that's picking Indiana, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, go check out before the kickoff where Cole, Ryan Paris, Elise Scan and I host a show. We have a lot of fun. And I think all of our predictions are gonna be fun this week.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we
Mine,
all have a creative idea for it.
I'll tell you this. I mean, obviously this will be out after before the kickoff goes out. I'm
Um,
paying
yeah, Will, sorry.
I'm paying homage to my goat Lee Corso, and I'm doing something a little extra for my prediction this week.
I love it. I love to hear that. Lee Corso is the
Quoting him a couple times. Shout out Lee.
shout out Lee Corso. Oh my gosh. Lee Corso is the best.
Love him.
Hell, I wrote his name down. Like I was a little kid. You didn't know many people in the world. They're like, right, who's your hero?
Yeah,
And they're like, list like three of them. Like, you're like, dad, mom, um, this cool athlete, Lee Corso. Like,
yeah.
who do you want to have? If you could have dinner with one person, that was the one I'd write his name down. Like, if you had dinner with one person, Lee Corso. I don't know why.
That's a
But I went
great
to it.
pick. He's been around for so long. College football just revolves around him.
Oh yeah.
He's the grandfather of college football. Like
Yeah.
he was my childhood, just waiting to see what headgear is going to pick on. I mean, it makes sense they're not doing that anymore, but I'm going to miss that so much,
I
so
know.
much.
I do you want to hear my idea for that for what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do?
go
I have
ahead.
to write it in. I've been behind, but I like if Iowa were to win this game against Indiana, fans will storm the students will storm the field.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the weatherman for my prediction. And I'm gonna put in the monitor like a forecast. I'm gonna make one tonight.
Oh,
And I'm gonna like, hey, look, there's a field storm brewing in Iowa City. Beware, or something like that. So that's what I'm
oh
going
my
with.
God.
And
I love that idea. That's sick.
I've been one, yeah. I think that one would be fun. It's the only time I do it because I'm not going to pick them to beat Penn State or Oregon. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't think so either, unless I don't know, unless something changes in the next month
We've
or so.
had people. I've had people on the show from both Oregon and Penn State. Maybe I do it just to be
Right.
annoying and send them a message like, guys, it's gonna be a 40-0 blowout. Iowa wins. Not that I don't have faith in them being good games. I just don't think Iowa prevails. But
No, it's so tough, especially after that Cyhawk game and now having these three three juggernauts essentially come to town.
no, but
My 9-3 season prediction is not looking too good right now.
it still could. Like, because here's
I mean,
my thing.
it's
Like,
definitely still could, but also like Nebraska to end the year in Lincoln kind of worries me. Those are always low scoring, kind of, grinded out games. So
here's my thing about the Cyhawk game. Because Iowa State had that week 0 game against Kansas State, had an extra game under their belt of preparation. Iowa State's good. Don't get me wrong. But Iowa had one game going into that and a few injuries. Trying to find any rhythm with the offense still. Look at their game against Rutgers.
Yeah.
Fluid offense for the most part. And I think you can see that again, maybe. I mean, not as well this weekend as Indiana's had a strong defense, especially their D line. But you like going through Wisconsin and everything else, they're going to have a lot more fluid offense, especially with Cormari Moulton's back. Reese Vandersee will be coming back for Wisconsin, it sounds like.
Yeah.
They have that sort of fluid offense against Iowa State. I'll throw it out there that I think they could have pulled it off in that specific game. If they were to play again right now, I'm not sure who would win that game. I think it would be it would be really competitive again. That'd be like a touchdown or two more on both sides. But I think that completely changed the game for Iowa in that.
Oh, absolutely. And what you said about that whole Iowa State game kind of goes into my pick this week, where Iowa State got so lucky on that final drive. I was not able to watch because I was waiting for the party bus at my brother's wedding. Again, we're taking pictures during that drive, but the whole tipped pass goes to another wide receiver. I think there was a penalty or something. I don't remember. I wasn't watching the game at that point. They got so lucky, and then Kyler Karate hits another huge kick to end the game. I mean, they were in it the entire game. They just could not finish.
You know, like, and I'll say like the unbiased side of like, yeah, Iowa State got really lucky. Iowa got lucky with some like, not with like flags and everything, and the fact of like, oh, that should not have been a call. Like, they got some lucky calls. It was like the timing of all the flags were very inconvenient for Iowa State. So we got pretty lucky on a lot of those.
And that muff punt was kind of 50-50.
Yeah. The muff punt. Wow. I kind of forgot about that. That was interesting because they were doing that for a long time. And I was talking to a few reporters there, and we're all like, at this point, it has to stand. You've went over it way too long and everything. And of course, on the Jumbotron there, they're showing the same angle. Like, they're going 2 frames back, 2 frames forward. So we're like, we're not even seeing anything at this point.
And what killed them, I think they went 3 and out on their first 3 drives. That just can't happen.
No, that was who
we were playing. That just can't happen. And then Iowa State capitalized on great field position, and they got up to an early lead. They never gave it back. But
ironically enough, I saw this the other day, and I didn't think about it. And I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, makes sense. Mark Gronowski's only turnover this year was the interception in that game, and it was when. Correct me if I'm wrong on the wide receiver, but I believe it was Kenwegian slipped.
Yep. He slipped.
And that's his only turnover.
Yep.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to watch some decent quarterback play.
But. Yeah. He hasn't been probably as good as I thought he was going to be. I mean, he's gotten better every week, which is good. Mm-hmm. It's very good. But he's playing mistake-free football, which I really like. Knock on wood.
Great dude as well. Give him some love. But again, thank you so much for joining me here on the Student Beat, Cole.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. I'm sad that it's over. Seriously.
I am too. This was great. And it's great to have you on and share your experience.
Absolutely. I love sharing my experience.
Thank you again, Cole.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Student Beat. Cole is such an amazing guy, so I suggest with everything I have that you go check out as much of his work as you possibly can. You just got to see the amount of talent that he has. And if you want to stay up to date with his podcast, you should follow me on Twitter at C_Crothers33, or you can follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Student Beat. We just walked The Student Beat. I'll see you next week for a brand new episode.